Hi everyone, my name is Abhirej Garakapati. Welcome to my YouTube channel Amazing Abhi. Mushoku Tensei Season 3 begins with a bold choice. Instead of immediately returning to Rudis, the premiere turns the spotlight toward Eris. Episode 1, titled Burn Bright, Mad Dog, is not just an action-heavy training episode. It is the answer to one question left behind by Eris's sudden departure. What was she really trying to become? After leaving Rudis, Eris carries guilt, frustration, and love all at once. She believes that standing beside him means becoming strong enough to face monsters like Orsted. This episode transforms that emotional wound into a path of brutal discipline. The tone is intense, lonely, and focused. It reminds the audience that Eris did not leave because she stopped caring. She left because, in her own rough and painful way, she wanted to become someone who could protect the person she loves. The episode opens after Eris has separated from Rudius. She travels with Ghislaine, carrying the weight of everything that happened after the battle with Orsted. Eris is not good at explaining her feelings, so her decision can look cold from the outside. But her motivation is emotional and simple. She saw how powerless she was against an opponent far beyond her level. Rudius nearly died, and Eris understood that courage alone was not enough. Her answer is not comfort, not conversation, and not apology. Her answer is training. That is very important for understanding her character. Eris processes pain through action. She does not sit down and calmly talk through trauma. She grabs a sword, walks into danger, and tries to become stronger than yesterday. Eris and Ghislaine arrive at the sword sanctum, the holy ground of the sword god style. Visually and emotionally, this place feels like a different world from Rudius's university life. There are no warm classrooms, family conversations, or peaceful routines here. Everything is built around strength, speed, instinct, and survival. The fortress atmosphere makes Eris's new path feel almost severe. She is entering a place where weakness is exposed immediately. Ghislaine's presence also matters. She knows Eris better than most people, and she understands both Eris's talent and her dangerous recklessness. This arrival tells us that Eris is stepping into a harsher chapter, one where she will be judged not by noble blood or past achievements, but by what her sword can do in front of mass. At the sword sanctum, Eris meets Galfarian, the sword god. He quickly sees that Eris is not an ordinary student looking for basic improvement. Her desire is extreme. She wants the strength to kill Orsted, one of the most terrifying beings in the world. That goal immediately catches Gal's attention. It sounds almost impossible, but it also reveals the scale of Eris's resolve. Gal tests her not with comforting words, but with humbat. This is the language everyone in this place understands. Eris stands before a master who can read her ability, attitude, and obsession almost instantly. The scene works because it does not soften Eris. She is intense, blunt, and almost frightening, but underneath that violence is a very clear emotional engine. She wants to close the gap between herself and the impossible. Before we move ahead, please take a second to like on this video. A like tells me that you enjoyed this topic. Your support helps Amazing Abhi grow naturally. Gal has Eris face 2 of his students, and the result says everything. Eris overwhelms them. This is the first major action statement of the episode. The point is not only that Eris is strong, the point is that her strength has become sharper, more violent, and more focused after her time traveling with Rudius and Ruijerd. She is not fighting like someone performing a clean demonstration. She fights like a wild animal that has survived real danger. That is why the title Mad Dog fits so well. It is not an insult in the simple sense. It is a description of her style. Forward, aggressive, fearless, and hard to control. The episode uses this fight to remind us that Eris was already powerful before she arrived, but the sword sanctum is about to push that power into something more. Then comes the real test. Eris against Galfarian. This duel is not about winning. It is about survival. Gal's opening attack shows the frightening difference between a talented young swordswoman and a true master. Yet Eris surviving that first strike is enough to impress him. That detail is important. In a world where sword ranks are earned through ability, survival itself can be proof. Gal recognizes her potential and promotes her to Sword Saint, accepting her as his personal student. This moment gives Eris a huge achievement, but the episode does not frame it as the end of her journey. Instead, it feels like the starting line. Sword Saint is not enough for her goal. If Orsted is the wall she wants to climb, then this promotion only confirms that she has finally reached. The episode then moves through years of relentless training. This is where Eris earns the nickname Mad Dog. She trains again and again, pushing her body and mind without mercy. The pacing makes her progress feel exhausting rather than glamorous. She is not becoming stronger through one lucky power-up. She is grinding herself down and rebuilding herself through repetition. This part also deepens the emotional tragedy of Eris. From Rudius's side, her departure caused pain and confusion. From Eris's side, the separation was also painful, but she converted that pain into discipline. Every swing of the sword is tied to the same thought. She cannot stay the same. She cannot be the girl who froze before Orsted. She has to become someone who can move when fear should paralyze her. One night, Eris encounters Obercorbett, a swordsman connected to the North God style. Their meeting immediately shifts the episode's energy. Auber is not simply another opponent in the same school. He represents a different kind of combat, tricky, unpredictable, and less straightforward than Eris's usual direct aggression. Eris naturally responds the way she always does, by challenging danger head-on. The duel is interrupted, but Auber is impressed by her skill. This scene matters because it hints that brute force alone will not be enough. Eris has terrifying offense, but future opponents will not always fight cleanly or honestly. If she truly wants to face world-class enemies, she must learn more than speed and power. She must learn how different fighters think, deceive, and survive. Ghislaine later confronts Gal about his training style. Her question is direct. Why has he not taught Eris the Blade of Light? This is one of the key techniques of the Sword God style, and for someone like Eris, it feels like the next obvious step. Gal's answer changes the meaning of the episode. He admits that even what he can teach her may not be enough to defeat Orsted, because Orsted has mastered every sword style. That is a brutal reality check. Eris's goal is heroic, but it is also nearly impossible. Gal's solution is to bring in masters from other styles, including Auber, so Eris can learn from more than one path. This makes her training feel bigger than rank. She is being shaped into a fighter who needs many weapons, not just the emotional peak arrives when Eris remembers what truly drives her. She does not want strength only to defeat Orsted. She wants strength to protect Rudius. That shift is what unlocks the Blade of Light. It is a beautiful character moment because it connects her violence to love. Eris often looks reckless, angry, and almost impossible to calm down, but her core motivation is protective. She wants to stand beside Rudius without being a burden. When she channels that feeling correctly, her sword reaches a new level. The Blade of Light is not just a flashy technique here. It becomes proof that her heart and body have finally aligned. Everyone watching understands that Eris has crossed another threshold, and Auber immediately wants a rematch. The episode ends with Eris still hungry for more. Episode 1 is a strong premiere because it reintroduces Eris with purpose. It does not ask the audience to forget the pain caused by her departure. Instead, it shows what that departure meant from her side. The best part of the episode is how it balances action with emotional motivation. The fights are exciting, but they are not empty. Every duel says something about Eris, her talent, her flaw, her obsession, and her loyalty. The only possible downside is that viewers who wanted Rudius immediately may feel the shift in focus. But as a season opener, this works because Eris is essential to the larger story. Her training arc is not filler. It is the foundation for her return as someone stronger, sharper, and emotionally clearer. Episode 1 tells us one thing loudly. Eris has not disappeared from the story. She is burning her way back. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Amazing Up High. Subscribing makes sure you do not miss the next video, and it gives me motivation to keep improving the quality of every upload. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.